Hey, this is Dr. Josh Wagner, and I'm on the line right now with Dr. Tom Caley right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who's been using the perfect patient funnel strategies for, I believe, somewhere between maybe 6 and 9 months, and has seen great growth, not only in his practice, but overall areas of his life. So I wanted to have him share that with chiropractors listening to see where he was mindset and practice beforehand to now. So, Tom, thanks so much for getting on the line and being willing to share with chiropractors. And really proud of, the practice you've created outside of life. We talk about family coming up and all of that. Really impressed. And share with chiropractors, what your energy, feelings, mentality, headspace was, let's say that a year ago when you were thinking about joining the Perfect Patient Funnel System.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Josh. Good afternoon. About a year ago, prior to that, I've already made some changes in my own life, personal changes, mental changes, physical changes, chemical changes, what have you. And I still felt like within the actual practice environment, I was still lacking a little bit. I always knew that I had some ability to connect with people, whether it's socially or emotionally. And I still felt like there was just something lacking in respect to maybe retention or maybe people really truly like hearing me out. So I know I had given some other kind of consults or some other kind of consultants, like the time of day, never kind of signing in, but like just on the fence as to whether like they're for me or not. And I know with you, it was a very kind of non-aggressive approach. It was, Tom, I'm here for you if you need it. Check out this email, check out this audio. And the more and more I kind of came around to it, I was like, this really vibes with me. And when I initially was giving it that thought, I was thinking to myself, what do I really need? And I remember it's the connection. And I sometimes was just speaking too much, whether it was a initial consult, report of findings, or even while the patient was just in the office. I felt like I had so much to say. And a lot of the times they were nodding and smiling along and even laughing in certain respects, but I felt like they were doing it superficially. And that also translated into how like they took the seriousness of, coming on to care. They were getting the results they wanted, but I don't think they were really as, I guess they weren't as committed as I would like them to be. So one of the bigger things that I guess I realized initially was how you stressed early on with these 3 essentials of listening, truly listening. And that's something that I've never really done. And if I really took a step back, even through life, I always noticed that I was someone who not necessarily needed the last word, but like always wanted to add something into a conversation. And before you knew it, I'm doing the talking, they're not being heard. And then there was a disconnect, or they're looking at their watch, or they're just moving on over. So one of the biggest things, at least immediately within the first month of that previous position that I was in, and then once coming on board to the Perfect Patient Funnel, was just how I just shut up. I mean, for the first time, there was just this urge to like, no, relax. And everything they kind of put out there, like obviously I've heard it or experienced it before, or I just wanted to chime in to let them know, hey, I'm with you. I'm on your same page, but it's their time to shine, So the biggest thing, at least I learned initially, was it's really about them. And they're coming in to be heard. They're coming in to be voiced. And for the first time ever, I'm just shutting up. And I'm letting them speak. And I'm just being really, truly engaged. I'm not writing. I'm engaged. And it's amazing how much I really did listen and learn. I didn't need a little bullet point, little note thing on the side. So one of the biggest things that just come off is listening to them, letting them feel special, letting them feel like they can get it off their chest. They didn't come in for an educational lecture talk, they came in to be heard. And finally, I put my theory, I put my belief, I put my connections of whatever kind of algorithm or whatever it may be as to what was going on with them. I just put that way on the back burner. And for first time ever, people at the edge of their chair really excited about what's my next question, what else can I tap into them for them to just kind of elaborate and open up with. And right there, I feel like I kind of lack of better descriptions, like I kind of got that. I kind of got them to know that, hey, this place is a little bit different than any other place that you've ever been to, probably.
Nice. That's huge. And I want to make sure that people listening know that before using these listening skills and questions, you weren't just shotgunning it. And you don't have to say names. I don't want you to. But I know you've been, intimately knowledgeable and rehearsed in some other prominent practice management groups in the field. So again, you weren't coming at it with absolutely no communication ability or no concept. Like, you had things that are widely used, but like you said, you were just talking and talking, and people were smiling and nodding, but they weren't connecting to you.
Exactly.
And now, besides from people sitting on the edge of their seats and really being engaged and more excited for what's coming next, what do you notice in just levels of people saying yes, retention, just the amount of time it takes to be with someone on that initial consult, or recommendations? Like, how much easier is that for you?
Much easier. I have a lot more confidence in being able to, just establish that leadership role in the beginning, I never really had any uncomfortability with speaking to anybody, but to do it in a formalized manner that was appropriate for me being a doctor in my office, them being a guest/patient, and letting them know what to expect, and for me to kind of really just apply what it is that I have to physically and verbally to them. But all in all, I would say that the ability to follow through and really have them captivated as to this place is, like, I don't know, I just see their eyes a little bit more dilated. I see, for once, no one's looking on and past me, looking up at things on the wall, looking at their watch, or just nodding to kind of like, he's a nice guy, and nice office, and it seems like, but like, okay, like, this is business. Let's get in and see what he can do for me. So it was just overall just an increased level of confidence to be able to tell them exactly how it is, and that they can respect my word. I hope I'm answering the question.
No, perfect. And I know chiropractors that are listening, at least I know I had this concern earlier on in practice before I switched my communication, is that you're not being anyone else than who you are. You're not saying anything that's incongruent with you. You're not saying anything that makes you feel off. And how important is that to you? Because I know you're such a genuine person.
Oh, big time. Like, I remember at one point me really like looking in the mirror and being like, listen, these guys are making great money. They're very successful. They're helping a lot of people. If I just follow them from A to Z, chances are I could really be comfortable in that whole financial scope. But if I started to really break down like some of the scripting and some of the rehearsing and some of the, the logistical point-to-point aspects of their program, I was just like, you know what? I don't really necessarily care about all that success. Like, I'm not genuine to myself, and I almost feel like they're going to look at me and be like, how do you sound this to me? And using your tactics. And I don't know, man. I was just like, you know what? This is just going to be a slow roll. I'm just going to find these people, and, they're going to truly find out who I am genuinely, and they're going to tell their neighbors and loved ones eventually, and they're going to get the results. And, hey, I'd rather a slow roll that I'm comfortable with than something that's huge, that's booming, that's great. And I'm, inquiring or questioning them as to where they're spending their money and where their priorities or health and well-being is compared to their car or cell phone, to something where I'm just getting them on to this, repeated adjustment schedule, and they're writing me out checks for $3,000-$4,000 at a time. I don't know. It just wasn't me. So to be able to fully have, to be heard from them, to be truly respected from them, and to be also listening to them, and for us to be on the same page, and for them to give me the referrals, and for this low practice to be a lot quicker than I expected. I just feel like I had the best of both worlds. And I think that was like the main thing that had me jump on board initially, was like, what makes Josh different? What makes these other consults different? Well, I get that. But the power is yours almost, I felt like. It's what I do in my own style well, tweaking it a certain couple ways, whether it's through psychology or knowing your audience through, patients, chiropractic patients, that I jumped on board. So I use that as my focus, and that's what I want out of it. And with some steps and just know-how, I mean, I was able to, and practice, I was able to just kind of glue it all together, be entirely comfortable with who I saw in the mirror, and then be comfortable with really, truly asking these people for money. And I don't mean it like that because, I mean, I was always given the care. I was almost running a charity event sometimes, but I felt confident. And it's almost like I didn't have to ask for it. Their purses out, their wallets out. I was like, is this a check? Do you guys accept credit card? Like, let's get on board here. So I almost had to eliminate that whole uncomfortable aspect because I was true to myself, and they knew it from the start.
Yeah, and to make sure the listeners realize that not just you're yourself, not just that it's easier and smoother and that you're connecting with people, but even from the beginning, I know you were telling me, like, practice started growing more than before. So, you're also increasing, and it's easy.
Yeah.
And at one point you had mentioned, one of your problems was patients are asking or requesting for more care than you're even recommending at first, which is a nice problem to have, and a few DCs have that issue.
Right. And it's kind of like the thing where I want to say goodbye to them before they say goodbye to me, just so that they know that I'm serious, just so that they know that I'm not sitting there like some of these other chiropractors that maybe they have been exposed to, where it's trying to fill up a schedule book or trying to find or pick an arbitrary number of visits that's required for their care. So I set up something basic, and really at this point they're stabilized and they feel good. We've reached one or two goals that we've established, the report of findings there, and I leave the choice to them. It's like the choice is yours. And a lot of the times, I'm letting them know, hey, you're independent of me. What I've showed you in respects to exercises, at-home activations, blah, blah, blah. It's exhaust those needs first, then contact me if they don't prevail. And a lot of them are like, really? So
it makes you a lot more attractive, and they never feel like they're being taken. Let's say
taken, exactly.
Yeah. So hey, I'm so great. I'm so impressed with the practice you have. Every one of your patients is lucky to have you.
Thank you.
I know you've got family up ahead, and you're going to be an exceptional father. I just want you to know that.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm just really grateful to have you really in my life, and someone that's representing what I share so well. Really, Tom, great job.
Yeah, man. If there's more opportunities for me to let others know, how unique this situation is, I mean, I'm on board, man. Definitely, people need to kind of get an idea.
Well, that's nice. So, if you look up Dr. Tom Caley, if you send him an email, give him a call if you want a quick response from him. I don't want to bombard you with inquiries, but I know you're more than giving to share your experience.
I've spoken with four or five different people on the phone for like 25, 30 minutes, just letting them know, have them feel the juice a little bit. But sure, anytime.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, and keep doing what you're doing, Tom.
Definitely, Jeff.